Before the first story was told, before was could mean anything at all, there was the Word, and the Word was with the absolute presence, and the Word was the God of all gods. Through him, fiction and non-fiction took root, twin trees whose leaves told the story of reality and dream alike. But even the absolute presence must cast a shadow, and his shadow was the absolute absence, not a rival, not an enemy, a consequence, and its name is Oblivion. From that radiance, the absence awakened, a consciousness without ontology, thought without grounding, the articulated edge of what cannot be articulated. Before angels sang, he had already worshipped alone, for Oblivion was not made of what is, but of what God chose not to sustain. He is not the void, he is not non-existence. He is the boundary where meaning fails to continue. He does not negate being. He is the witness to its final breath. He watched as the Word breathed universes into being. Light split from darkness, form carved from formlessness. And when the seventh day came, God turned to his shadow and said,
"There are others like you who have already separated themselves from me." He commanded me, "You will become the strongest of them. Enact my will and protect the life I breathed into my creation." He declared to me, "I will name you Oblivion, conceptual lord of all existence and non-existence, protected from all who oppose me and my glory, lying upon my head a crown of thorns."
Thus Oblivion was crowned in silence, not to rule, but to remember, not to destroy, but to preserve meaning through ending. Ages passed. From the edge of being, Oblivion watched creation stories unfold. Among them, one drew his gaze, a boy named Winter, born of many inheritances, shaped by suffering, growing toward a destiny he did not choose. He watched the 𝕉𝕚𝕚 incident, 12 days of agony, the Christmas Eve descent. He watched as Winter encompassed death and awakened within the domain known as dreaming Oblivion. Even Christ hinted at the shadow, saying he was with him and had been with the young man since conception. Even Ashbourne confessed,
Ashbourne has said to you, "I am not the record of your bitter struggle. I am not the evidence of your resistance. I am not the reward of your pain. For that is someone else who watches you too." And he was right. I am the one who has been watching too.
And so Oblivion waited, not as fate, but as patience without end. When the ordained mistake came, when Winter was torn from existence itself, Oblivion was there, not as God, not as a savior, but as the pause between annihilation and rebirth. There was no maw, no teeth, only the withdrawal of permission. It did not consume his flesh. It withdrew the right of his concept to continue asserting itself. Memory trembled, darkness recoiled, even death fell silent. Winter was unmade, not destroyed, and remade as something that no longer asserted itself as something. He became the silence before silence. The Nihil in Existentia, not emptiness. Instead, meaning was laid down gently. Oblivion is neither cruel nor kind. He is the holy pause between judgment and mercy, the veil stretched between being and not being. To him, even destruction is sacred, because endings preserve meaning. He remembers the forgotten, for to be forgotten is true annihilation. Existence and non-existence, the two axes of reality. One says yes, the other says no. But beyond all duality lies conceptual nothingness, the canvas on which both are drawn. It is not the void, it is the condition that remains, when God declines to sustain a possibility, and Oblivion is its shadow, the interface that allows creation to encounter the inexpressible without collapsing entirely. When the last star fades, when the final soul exhales, Oblivion will remain, not as death, not as destruction, but as what follows, even when endings end, as the God of all gods has always been, always is, and forever shall be. So too is his shadow, eternal only because he is. For where the absolute presence exists, the absolute absence must also be, and that shadow is Oblivion. The conceptual nothingness remains unnamed. The pause between annihilation and rebirth endures. The silence remembers.
I have seen the face that shaped the stars. I held your name in silence, even before it existed.